Thanks a lot, Shocks. It is time for Game 4 in this best-of-5 semi-final series between Najin Black Sword and SK Telecom T1. And with just one more win, Prey and Sword will earn their first spot in next week's finals.
Yeah, we've really talked about SKT's ability to make adjustments and counter their opponent's abilities, but it's actually been Sword who have made adjustments to their game to pull a different comp in Game 3 and, more importantly, steal champions away that SKT was successful with in Game 2.
And that was the second time that Nagne and Faker faced off with Gragas and Ahri, and the second time that Nagne has led his team to victory. He's coming up with some really nice end game plays. I mean, all the analysts talked about SKT giving up first games of series. They didn't say anything about third games.
Something new here from this one. And once again, Voyboy joining us for the picks and bans here. Voyboy, are we going to see that Gragas taken away here, do you think?
I really expect to see some bans thrown towards Nagne's Gragas. He's been playing phenomenally the past few games. I really think they're going to throw a respect ban there just to get it out of the way, because I feel like that's his most comfortable pick right now. It's what he's been going for, and they just probably want to put him on something that he's less adept at. I really actually think that SKT is going to have might run into some prizes. I feel like Najin Sword has been playing the same champions over and over in the series to draw some bans and potentially free up some of their more comfortable picks. Maybe they have some strats in their back pocket for the deeper games of the series. For example, the Jax has already been banned out. SKT has been getting rid of that every game. We may see a Gragas banned out here, and that's going to actually allow Najin Sword to go for some of those comfort picks that have been taken away from them in the past few games.
Just before we get into picks and bans, I want to highlight that SKT have been focusing their bans on the duo lane. Twitch and Thresh in Game 1, Twitch and Shen, that was towards the top lane. Game 3, Twitch and Thresh again. Yeah. They banned Zed once. Other than that, it's been top lane and bottom lane that SKT have been banning out.
It's pretty interesting. I think that they might stop taking that Shen, as Doublelift was talking about too, because it seems like Sword are very, very fine with playing against a Shen. They also talked about camping that top lane over and over. The jungler top laner synergy seems to be working for them really well.
Well, here we go then into game number 4. Into bans and picks. We'll see if anything changes here. Vi, Fizz, Vayne taken away here from Sword. And there is the Gragas ban along with Twitch and Zed.
So Ahri is still up. So this is the third game in a row, fourth game in a row. We're going to leave up Ahri here. And actually it's up for either team to take. Sword have to decide between which solo laner we'd rather grab that champion for. Would we rather grab the Ahri or the Jax for our top lane?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I saw when they first picked Jax in the second game, it didn't really go so well for them. They kind of got counterpicked by their Renekton. I actually would expect to see a very early Renekton pick here. They're hovering over the Thresh, but Renekton has been absolutely like a monster in both the games that he was played, and I definitely would like to see some priority placed on him.
Now, when they did get Thresh, when Sword got Thresh versus Gambit, those were the games that got everyone start to talk about this bottom lane. Frey and Kayn, oh, they're amazing. They crush everybody. It's because Kayn had Thresh and he was making all these plays. So maybe now we will see that bottom lane actually exert their will on this game and actually have a really early strong pack.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's exactly basically what I was talking about. SKT was forced to ban out the Twitch, the Zed, and the Gragas, and that allowed Najin Sword to pick up the Thresh, which is what they're so comfortable with. SKT taking away the Corki from Prey. We're going to actually be seeing him on a new AD carry for this series in this game, so interesting to see what he's going to pick. And Bengi, of course, going for his signature Lee Sin. Definitely expected that one. He's got it. He's comfortable with it. I'm looking forward to the plays.
I don't think that watch will go with the Aatrox now that Bengi's taken away Lee Sin, so we'll have to see. Probably something more along the lines of Elise. Maybe even that Jarvan. We keep throwing out Jarvan, but we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Elise, Nunu's still up. Nagne hovering over the Jax. Would not be surprised to see that come out. Renekton is still up. Like I was saying, I did expect them to pick it up on this rotation, but I guess they're going to go for that comfort Jax.
All right, and the Elise as well. So Watch going to have those early gank impacts that he's looking for. Talked about him getting a lot of these first bloods initiated when he's on that Elise, and he actually focuses that top lane a lot as well. So him going to look to get that Jax going early could probably be the early layout here for the Sword team. Meanwhile, a Renekton and Lee Sin is pretty beast. If you meet up a 2 versus 2, which side would you rather be on here?
I'd probably say the Renekton and Lee Sin.
Yeah.
It's very potent, a lot of kill potential. Prey is actually hovering over Ezreal, a very safe AD carry for this purpose. He really does not want to die in that 2v2 skirmish versus the top laner and the jungler. In the game that they dropped, he actually him and Kane got double killed, which was huge in securing that loss. So right here, I think they may just go for that safe Ezreal pick when Corki is banned out and just hope to carry through the laning phase, allow Jax to reach that late game potential where he starts to shine, where he starts to overtake Renekton, make it through that early game, and really just hit their sweet spot where they can take this game home.
I think the last one is the interesting one though here, right? I mean, the mid laner, Nagne, what's he going to go for? The Ahri was left open. SKT leaving their mid lane until last here, so it's all about Faker and what he really wants to go up against this Ahri with.
It's pretty interesting because this was the original champion that everyone thought was Nagne's main. But with him performing so well on Gragas, they actually switched it up, banned that one out. And I have to say again about that Ezreal that you were talking about, I really like him for the late game too because we've seen how beefy Renekton's have been getting, and he can kite back pretty easily with Renekton. As well, he can skirt around the outside of Zyra's Stranglethorn, so it's always nice to have a very, very mobile AD carry. And pairing that with a mobile mid laner, I think there's a lot of versatility in this Sword lineup.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be very hard for SKT to reach that Ezreal. He's going to just be able to E back, flash back consistently. Orianna's not going to be able to get a good ultimate off and just secure kills on him. I'm really excited to see Nagne on his Ahri. He's been playing really well in the Gragas, and like I was saying, they drew out those bans. They may have gone in the comp they were looking for after all in the first place, so this may be the strategy they had in their back pocket.
Playing safe at this point of the day, and it's always hard to call. I think when you're at game point, you've got 2 more games to play. Do you play something a bit more risky and try and throw SKT off here, or do you go the safe option? I think this is a pretty safe, comfortable lineup overall for them to be going into game 4 with. And as I said, they got 2 chances to win this game against SKT.
And SKT, with the Orianna and with the Renekton, their set of champions that they're rolling with here seems to be a little bit more team fight oriented and more focused on that early dragon, whereas Sword would be happy with having just lanes win and then spreading out the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jax is going to come in huge late game if he can make it there to split push. Ahri is just going to be a beast with the Elise. The skirmish potential is huge. They're going to be able to look for those picks. If Ezreal indeed goes for that blue build, he can start sniping people off with those Qs, get the slow, and then look for picks with the Ahri charm or the Thresh hook. So that could be a strategy that they're going to look to employ.
Well, thanks a lot, Voyboy, for joining us again. We may see you between the next game if Sword, of course, drop this game and SKT bring us back to a game 5. But we're going to be jumping into game. It's game number 4. Najin Black Sword leading this best of 5 series at 2-1. That's game point. A win here will put them through to play the winner of Fnatic and Royal Club in the championship match.
And while it's very early on to remind viewers, remember when Watch was playing Elise and Faker was playing Orianna a couple games back, I believe Watch dodged 4 out of 4 of Faker's shockwaves, if my counting was correct. So we'll see if Watch's reflexes has degraded over the course of the series, and if he can continue to avoid that immense damage on Faker. Right now, Sword are grouping up as a 5-man, going for this very deep invade. They didn't do it in game 3. It's the only game they haven't gone for those super deep wards, and they're doing it again now in the 4th game.
So Sword started this level 1 off by waiting by the mid lane there, hoping someone would come into a bad situation and check it. But since nobody did, they actually end up going for the very deep ward so they can call the lanes once again. Just too bad, though. Impact has already passed where that ward was placed. So if he wants to stay top lane, there will be no information gained from Sword's very deep ward.
Same happened over the other side there for SKT, getting in on towards the red buff. You can see that Sword actually pinging down onto that red buff ward, and the one just above it there in the brush as well. Meanwhile, Piglet is waiting off in the tri-bush here with Bengi. Also going to have Mandu coming in there as well. They're going to go for this one.
The late invade. This is going to be very interesting because both junglers have smite, and Watch runs right into him.
Oh, he's going to go down. This is so close. He's still alive. Gets into Spiderfall. Bengi gets taken out for first blood. Bray goes huge.
Cade with that hook at the last second, and then the reflexes from all members of Sword. Expression also using his flash ignite and stun instantly to chain it and grab them that first blood.
Absolutely incredible start here for Najin. So let's have a look at that one again.
Let's probably watch this slow, because initially Watch gets chunked down. Right after Bengi does the second activation of Q, Watch flashes away. So he knows that Bengi can't follow him any longer, and that brings him right into Kane's hook.
And it's Prey that gets the first blood as well. That couldn't have gone any better for this 2v2 lane down on the bottom side. They are going to be going head-to-head from that one. dream start to game 4 here for Najin Blacksword, who are on game point, who are on championship game point here, essentially.
We also talked about how important the jungle presence has been top lane. This is a huge jungle lead for Watch. He already has both buffs, and he's heading up there already. The small thing that's good for SKT here is that there's no flash on Jax.
Oh, we'll see if this works out for them. Watch, level 3 with the buffs. Does get the poison down, does not actually even throw out that cocoon. His impact was quick enough to get away with that slice and dice. And Prey and Kane now returning to lane. They haven't spent that first blood gold, so even though Prey secured it, he hasn't shown it or got an itemization advantage at this stage.
And something about that gank top. Never mind, there's a hook.
What a hook as well. Piglet here having to Valkyrie away already. Mandu is going to stick around. There's a barrier used by Prey. He's going to go in. Piglet will use the barrier. Mandu now chasing down Prey. Trying to get the finisher. It's still alive. Prey, don't come back in. The plant was waiting for him. And in the end, Prey walking off to the side. Kane survives. And SKT coming out with the most health. Here comes the Lee Sin. Flash over. He's missed the Q. And Prey will walk away from it. Incredible stuff.
What a dodge right there. Wow, the Lee Sin blasting his flash off as well. At least they are able to run them off the turret, so it's going to be turret damage. But watch, since they see Lee Sin bottom, he's going to answer.
Yeah, but look at the CS now. Their Piglet's built up 24 to 10. Even with that first blood, the Prey is losing out on so much XP and so many last hits. We do see in the top lane, Watch is now coming in behind Impact.
This time, he needs to get better positioning, because last time there was no ward and he came through the bush.
Oh, Cocoon goes through, but the slice will bring him to safety. Is Watch going to keep going? He's at least going to put down some damage onto him. Can't quite
That's a bluff. That's a bluff. So what I was going to say about the positioning, though, when he knows that there's no ward from Impact up top, he doesn't have to walk through that small bush that's not all the way behind him. He can come straight through the river, knowing that there's no ward, and get a really nice positioning all the way behind Impact and cut off his exit.
So Faker here in this mid lane putting down some good pressure on towards Nagne, who's pretty much out of mana right now. Sorry, not quite taking the beating I think that Faker would have hoped for, but he'll be happy if he can bully Nagne away from some CS right now. Already built himself up somewhat of a lead, but look at this. The Spider coming to middle again.
Well, see if we can get the Cocoon down. Faker flashes. I think the Cocoon missed anyway. Yeah. So flash blown, Watch will be happy with that one.
And that's right before Nagne is going to hit level 6. So once Aura has 6, Faker's going to have to play pretty defensively here.
And we can see that Nagne's actually gone home from this as well, picking himself up 2 Doran's rings, going to give him more, and he comes back into this lane. Might be a good time for Faker to get back as a hook, going to land onto Mandu here, down in that bottom lane, but Piglet going to dive in there. Kane, Julie going to fall from this one. Piglet picks up that kill. Prey tries to get the kill. He's not got him though. Prey going super low, and he will fall. Piglet picks up the double.
I know our analyst desk is going to have something to say about that bottom lane mechanics, because Prey missed a couple shots there and then didn't even finish off the support trade.
I also think he stopped to auto attack a minion during the course of that. Might have been an attack move posture from him. We'll have to see what the analyst desk says about that one.
So top lane, which has been a bit more of a face-bashing competition. We've seen Watch, of course, visit it twice now with no success. Meanwhile, Bengi now coming through in towards this mid lane. Should mention that Nagne hasn't hit that level 6 mark just yet at this point. He's still waiting on that one. Faker has hit 6 though, so that shockwave gonna be available for SKT.
Well, we'll see if we can make it work for him. Nagne, this wave is very, very overextended. Doesn't manage to connect with a charm, so unable to follow up with more damage. We're seeing this Renekton versus Jax matchup, and I recall Voyboy talking about it, saying how Renekton wins early on. We do see that expression about 13 CS behind, and there's also a similar number in that bottom lane as Prey has yet to recover from that early dive. I almost feel like Kane has baited him and Prey into those dives because he's landing phenomenal hooks, but you don't always follow up on a hook that lands, and I think Prey and Kane have to be a little more cautious with their engages.
They might be reconsidering how they use that first blood money. Prey was the one who got that extra very, very big lead and didn't make very good use of it. Meanwhile, we just saw down bottom, Kane had just used his Dark Passage to grab some souls, and so that's why they didn't go for that gank right there. No Dark Passage for the gank.
Oh, Bengi here being caught by the charm. What? decides not to go in for. There's Expression in the top lane. Will get the stun down onto Impact, then go away. Another hook landing here up towards Piglet. But look at the damage of Valkyrie in. The playback will keep Kane alive for now. Prey that's actually playing offensive on this one, trying to keep them from pushing around. But again, the hook landing, but not really helping Sword.
Yeah, good call by Kane to not dive in for that one. Manages to keep himself alive. You can see that Expression has been pushed off the tower by Impact in the top lane. And Impact coming to help out Bengi and Faker on this blue buff steal. They secure that one uncontested. And Najin's Sword falling further behind. 1,300 gold at the 8-minute mark.
That's why Renekton's such a big pick between these two. He's able to push off Expression from the turret, and then they steal away the blue buff, effectively not turning that win in the top lane into a win for the mid lane.
So we'll see whether that blue buff is kept over for Faker here, or whether Bengi will just take that one away for himself for that extra cooldown. We'll see about that one. It actually looks like Faker is going to be coming over, but it'll go to Bengi. I think Faker thought he was getting that one, you know, he was headed over there. But in his top lane, Expression and Impact going head-to-head once again. Actually, Ultimate being used here by Impact. Puts down the stun on towards Expression, and half of his health disappears like that. Meanwhile, SKT are doing Dragon.
Oh, they should be able to pick this one up. Nobody from Sword in position to contest. Another early control Dragon secured here by SKT, the first in the 4th game of the series.
And that's why Bengi has this jungle style that he plays where he ganks for the pressure in lane. He just pulled off that mid gank in the middle, and even though they didn't kill Nagne, they forced him to use his Spirit Rush and back, which eventually turns into an objective for them. They grab the dragon on top of it.
It's going to allow the rest of his lanes to snowball even further. Expression jumps in, loses off on this trade. He's going to manage to get the counter-strike down. Now Impact re-engages. That's Expression throwing down his ultimate. He's really not trading evenly. He's now 33 CS behind. Watch does have red buff available, sitting just outside of sight. But Impact isn't going to take the bait. He isn't going to dive past the tower. Kane, I think, was just trying to get a last hit there. And we do see Piglet. He's gone forward. That's a flash burn from Kane. Very, very scared of the damage that Piglet can put down.
Yeah, interesting choice there, I think, to flash away from it. He just used that Valkyrie. Would be a lot to commit there, I think, for Piglet, who didn't really know how far up that lane Prey would have been at that stage. So either way, we'll see if it costs them later on in the game, as there is a shockwave used by Faker on towards Nagne, and he's going very, very low from that one. Meanwhile, Prey down in this bottom lane. He's been sandwiched between the two. There's a flash over from Piglet, who manages to get the kill.
Again, this bottom lane, Piglet and Pumandu just dominating all by themselves. This is going to snowball pretty hard, as every single lane for SKT is winning.
Take a look at this. Watch now coming in. They managed to get the cocoon. Nagne's going to use that Spirit Rush to get away. Does actually come right back into the fight. The Wolves are trying to pick up the kill. We do see Expression's got one, as now Watch flashes away. I believe it was the Ignite that picked up that one on Faker. Expression has a blue buff. He's looking for a Counter-Strike leap. Faker's going to get the movement speed.
Oh,
the hook from Kane. Faker's going to get dropped. Expression with a double kill. He's back in.
What a roam there from Kane, coming in at the perfect time. The off-screen hook, catching Faker off guard, and allowing them to answer. They need every single one of these kills that they're getting.
Man, let's have a look at that one again. I mean, really caught out there, not expecting, I think, the fact that Bengi was coming when he did.
Yeah, and then Nagne being chunked down before this even happened meant that right now he's running for his life from the Wolves. And Watch, just too close to Faker. Even though he flashes away, Faker still gets the kill, so that's a huge win. But here's the off-screen hook. That's beautiful, coming in from Kane from the side, and they are finally able to grab that kill.
So this bottom lane, been a bit of a thorn in the side of Sword. I didn't think I was going to be saying that after we saw the first blood going over to Prey, I must say. And at this stage, that turret less than half HP. Still a few minions in there as well to help things out. You can see Piglet just chunking in there as Bengi. What a move around the back here. Shockwave actually going to pull him in. Nagne here in all kinds of troubles. He lands a charm. Can they get across? Flash from Bengi. Lands the Q. There's the kill from Faker.
Steady with that Sonic wave right there. Bengi does land it after flashing, and he's able to finish off that kill. Really good job ganking again before the Spirit Rush is back up.
Trading some damage back and forth there. Prey and Kane doing the best they can to withhold against the onslaught from Piglet. He's sitting with that Sheen as well as the Phage, spamming out those rockets at every opportunity. And you can see Piglet with a 30 CS lead, a kill advantage, and an assist advantage, doing phenomenal in that lane. We also see Impact once again throwing down that dominance, just getting the HP back, applying some ticks of damage, burning through Expression's HP bar. And we see, actually, that's Bengi as well as Pumandu coming around. Kane's been caught out. They pulled Prey backwards. Now Kane is in trouble. He flayed Piglet backwards.
He's dead from that one. I'm not sure that Mandu will be in too much trouble here either, but there is Watch coming in. Here comes Bengi as well. He's not quite got that kick available, but he's going to kick the tower down a few times, and this should be the first tower of the game here for SKT. Piglet actually delaying that one a little bit. That might get him caught out. In comes Najin from the side. He's taking a lot of damage though. Will have to Spirit Rush himself away. Meanwhile, Oriana's trying to move in for the kill.
Well, Prey's doing the best he can to pick up a kill on Mandu, but he's going to get chunked down. Bengi secures another kill for his team. It was actually Pumandu with a double. Those plantlings too strong.
He actually deserves that double. I'm going to say Pumandu earned that because of the snare that he landed onto Nagne when Nagne initiated onto Prey. Support definitely earned those 2 kills.
Well, let's have a look where that leaves us here, because the lead starting to get a little bit out of control. 22.3 thousand gold to 16,000 here for Sword. 8-4 in kills, 2-0 in turrets.
That was a shockwave used on the bottom lane. Nagne's in trouble. Ignite goes down, and even after taking the lantern, he basically face plants with Kane, and Faker picks himself up a kill.
That was very weird, I have to say. I feel like Sword are a little bit off their game at this point. This is not the Sword that we saw last game.
When they lose, they seem to be losing very hard. Like every single lane losing. And then that puts so much pressure on Watch that it's very hard for him to turn it around.
As it stands now, SKT 3 towers to 0. They have themselves a nice 7,000 gold lead. At the 15-minute mark, Trinity Force is already completed for Piglet. Athene's and Holy Grail, plus a needlessly large rod for Faker. And if you look at Impact in the top lane, he's got the makings of a Sunfire Cape and a Brutalizer. He's feeling so confident with his Renekton that he's even gone for a very early Brutalizer, which we haven't seen from either of the Renekton plays in the previous games.
Oh, this is not good.
No,
Prey
Prey!
getting caught out on top of a ward. Faker gonna walk in, says thank you very much for the free kill. I'm gonna kill his free.
Who says Oriana is not an assassin. He comes in with the blue buff, catches Prey off guard. Top lane's just going to back off though. No action up top.
Well, we do see Faker now 4-1-1. His Oriana is doing such
Just
great
getting
work.
action up top.
Nagne's caught out, now gets stunned down. Piglet's going to continue to chase. We do see a death sentence going out. Nagne, thanks to the Spirit Rush, is able to survive, but it's not over. Piglet flashes forward. Nagne drops down. Now the rest of SKT are bashing away. They picked up a kill onto Watch, and they're going to take the tower as well.
I'm a little bit confused at this point. I mean, it's like that it wasn't out of reach. You've got a Cork, you can Valkyrie in there. You've got champions who have all got Flash to finish you off very, very low. He gets caught out once again. We saw that in game number 2 that they lost in that mid lane, if we don't forget that one, where Bengi actually came in with the Lee Sin and he just seemed to be not paying attention. And as you said, they're not just losing, they're losing hard right now.
All right, so this was Impact coming right out of the bush into Nagne. He uses both Spirit Rushes to leave the fight. And then as SKT push up, Watch is standing right there. Nagne came back in to try and land a charm, but Piglet calls him and just goes all in, flashing right over for the kill.
Well, SKT now securing another global objective. Dragon locked up. That's more than 10,000 gold at the 17-minute mark. This is an immense deficit to come back from, and I don't know if Sword can do this.
I feel like SKT plays so well when they get an early upper hand in their lanes. The lane play gives them so much confidence for later that they continually execute these picks and these mid-game plays where they're rotating around the map so well if they get that upper hand in lane. And this is after, by the way, they gave up that first blood before laning phase.
Just want to do a couple of item comparisons here. Look at the mid lane. Fiendish Codex plus 2 Doran's rings against the Death Cap and the Fiend's Unholy Grail for Faker. That's obviously a huge disparity. And then you've got the AD carries. We've got Piglet, who's got his Trinity Force finish, plus a BF sword against Prey, who's not even got the Zeal there to finish up that trifle.
What's really worrying is the CS difference. Like, the kills are pretty big, but kills, the money can be regained through getting bounties. CS difference, you can never regain that.
Well, Expression.
And he's just getting 1 versus 1.
He's going to go down here. Impact flashes forward. Golden Meek's not going to be enough. Cocoon comes out and Expression gets away, but he should never really have picked that fight to begin with. Right now, SKT are going to secure their 6th tower of the game as they take that one nonchalantly in the mid lane.
Bit of a masterclass here from SKT. They're certainly showing us how to play once you get ahead, full of confidence, not really slowing down, catching Najin Sword pretty much out every single time that they think they're safe. Meanwhile, they're pushing in on an inhibitory at this point. 18 minutes into this one. Expression, is he going to dive in there to stun up? No, he's not.
This time around, not even ready to surrender here if you're a Sword member. 12,000 gold down, 4 kills to 12. You haven't even touched the towers of SKT. They stay stacked up. You see that Orianna command attack really giving so much zone control here in favor of SKT. The tower is going to get dropped down. True Shot Barrage blows in. But it's sort of started a fight.
Mandu getting caught out, but the Shockwave absolutely destroys them. That's going to be a 2-for-1 for now. Watch, trying to finish off Faker, who's still trying to run away. Meanwhile, Nagne trying to escape.
Oh, the charm land!
The charm does land. That will save Nagne's life, but that is not going to be Faker going down. In fact, he turns it around. Oh, he is! Wow, what? Dives in there. Uses the flash to get the kill. SKT actually suffering a little bit more than they expected after what was a great Shockwave opener.
It was a good turn there at the end by Watch, but even though Mandu gets hooked in here, he's able to get down these Strangle Thorns before he dies. It knocks up Watch. The rest of SKT all immediately collapse on Mandu, even just as him getting picked out. This charm being landed does save Nagne, but the same is not true up here for Faker. He flashes that Cocoon. Watch immediately turns around because he has the execution damage. Right when this turret hit lands, Faker gets into range for execute, and they finish him off perfectly.
Command attack just missing, and Watch, once again, he dodged the Shockwave with his repel. His timing on that is really, really good. But look at these 2 glass cannons of Expression and Watch. Other than the Ninja Tabi, that's the only real tanky stats. Yeah, you've got some HP from that Golem item of Watch, but he's got Sork shoes as his boots upgraded. There's nothing else there to allow him to survive in these team fights. SKT got an exposed inhibitor to play with if they want to group up again. It does look like they're putting attention to the top lane, and once again, another potential blue buff steal.
Well, this one's not going to be giving up for free. Sort of hanging around from that one, but they don't actually have vision there as the True Shot Barrage does head over towards Baron rather than towards that blue buff, and Sword gonna have to back away from this one. Not safe though. We see that Zyra and Lee Sin, 2 champions, can pin you down from over the wall, and Sword have been forced right back into their base on this one. SKT want in him.
Well, they're bashing away on this one. They'll secure this one thanks to the damage that Prey took earlier. Phenomenal coordination here from SKT can allow them to secure the inhibitor. Now with minions in the top lane, they've rolled around, landing the auto attacks. Expression has thrown down his ultimate. He's jumped onto Impact in the back line. Repel comes down. Shockwave whiffs, doesn't catch anyone. Stranglethorns knocks up no one from Sword either. SKT haven't stopped.
Bunch of ult cooldowns being traded right there is actually pretty good for Sword.
Hold them off there as well. Slightly, again, missed cooldowns, a real difference to what we saw in that last one with a great Shockwave, great Stranglethorns coming down. This time though, Sword hold them off. Let's not forget, we're only at the 21-minute point of this game right now. There's a 14,000 gold lead currently for SKT. It's still pretty dire for Sword, but they're holding on, showing some great character here.
Super minions are now on the steps of the base for Sword, which means SKT should decide to engage. Kane gets caught out. He's melted by the damage, and that's just such great. True Shot Barrage trying to clear out the wave. The rest of SKT, Dominus is down. They've engaged.
They're going on towards Watch, who will be absolutely taken down from the map now from that one. Nagne and Expression here trying to run back from things underneath the tower, maybe not the safest. Mando actually going in there, gets the kill onto Expression, and that is going to be another in him. They've got super minions coming in. Have they got enough help to finish off? There's the kill onto Prey. It's now Kane and Nagne to hold on to the game. Nagne's the target, the kick there from Bengi. Baker dies underneath the fountain. He'll pay the price of life from that one. But with the Corki still alive, they might be able to do it here.
Well, they're going to do the best they can. It's not a lot of defense here from Sword. This is going to be game 4 going to SKT. They've got one Nexus turret and decide to back away. Those death time is not particularly high right now as we are only 23 minutes into the game. And here's a replay of that fight.
Oh, the impact right there. The rocket hitting at the exact same time. Just blowing him up. And after that turret down, even though they don't have ultimates, SKT can run over this. They've got the man advantage. They've already got Ezreal extremely low, so they can just run into the base.
Well, there is the victory. And it's going to be a bit of a surrender there coming in at the end. And, well, it's not